Most people think they know the Corvette, they know the ZR1, they know the Stingray, they've seen the posters and memorized the horsepower numbers. But inside the Corvette's 70-year production history, there are cars so extreme, so deliberately hidden, or so completely forgotten, that even serious collectors have spent decades without encountering one. These 10 are the ones that almost didn't exist, built for reasons nobody at General Motors wanted to discuss publicly. And stay with us to the end, because after number 1 we have 2 bonus Corvettes that didn't make the main list, but deserve their own moment. Number 10, 1953 Chevrolet Corvette, 300 built, America's first. Before the Corvette was a muscle car, before it was a supercar, before it was a cultural institution, it was 300 cars built by hand in the back of a customer delivery garage on Van Slyke Avenue in Flint, Michigan. The first one rolled off the line on June 30th, 1953. All 300 shared the same basic specification: polo white paint, sportsman red interiors, black canvas tops, because nobody had yet figured out how to build a fiberglass body at volume, and giving workers additional variables to manage while learning the process would have made an already difficult job impossible. The equipment list was extremely limited, with 2 commonly cited factory options: a Wonderbar AM radio for $145.15 and a heater for $91.40. The engine was a 235 cubic inch Blue Flame inline-6 producing 150 horsepower, not the V8 that would define the Corvette's identity, which didn't arrive until 1955. GM's own records describe the production facility as a pilot line, a temporary operation designed to prove the concept before committing to full-scale manufacturing. Depending on how documented survivors are counted, roughly 225 to 255 are believed to remain. A well-preserved or fully restored example sells today for between $250,000 and over $1 million depending on documentation and condition. Every surviving example is from Corvette's first production year. Number 9, 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L89, 16 built. The aluminum head option almost nobody ordered. In 1967, Chevrolet offered the L89, aluminum cylinder heads fitted to the L71 427 cubic inch tri-power V8, for $368.65 extra. The heads were related to the technology used on the L88 racing engine, meaning buyers got advanced aluminum head technology on top of the L71's 435 horsepower triple carburetor setup. 16 buyers ordered it in 1967, not 160, 16. The L89 became more popular later. 624 were ordered in 1968, and 390 in 1969, making the 1967 version by far the rarest of the 3 years it was offered. While the L88 gets every auction headline, the 1967 L89 shares its most distinctive engineering component and exists in even smaller numbers. Almost nobody talks about it. Number 8, 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88, 20 built. The car Chevrolet tried to stop you from buying. The L88 is the Corvette that Zora Duntov deliberately made unappealing to ordinary buyers. The 427 cubic inch V8 featured aluminum heads with enlarged ports, a hotter camshaft, a 12.51 compression ratio, and a single 850 CFM 4-barrel carburetor in place of the triple carb setup used on the L71. The car was intended for high-octane fuel and competition use. The official factory rating was 430 horsepower, less than the L71's 435, which made no mechanical sense and was entirely intentional. Duntov wanted race teams, not commuters. A properly prepared L88 can produce well over 500 horsepower, while the factory's 430 HP rating was widely understood to be conservative. Chevrolet removed the heater, removed the radio. The message was clear: this car is not for you, unless you know exactly what you are doing. 20 buyers ordered it in 1967, the first year the L88 was available. Of those 20, roughly 14 are commonly reported to survive. The only known 1967 L88 in a documented red-on-red color combination sold at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale in 2014 for $3.85 million, one of the most significant Corvette auction results in history. Number 7, 1970 Chevrolet Corvette ZR125 built, the small block racer hidden in plain sight. Not the C4ZR1 that made the name famous, the original. A competition package combining the solid lifter LT1 350 cubic inch small block at 370 horsepower with the Muncie M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed heavy-duty brakes, transistorized ignition, aluminum radiator and metal fan shroud, and stiffer suspension throughout. It cost $968.95. Air conditioning, power steering, and the radio were deleted. 25 buyers ordered it in 1970, mainly racers. Only 53 first-generation ZR1s were built across 3 years, far rarer overall than the L88. Most people who know the ZR1 name have never heard of the car that started it. Number 6. 1971 Chevrolet Corvette LS6, 188 built. The big block before the curtain fell. In 1971, Chevrolet offered the LS6 454 in the Corvette, the last truly aggressive big block before emissions requirements permanently reshaped what was possible. The engine produced 425 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. The LS6 package cost $1,221. Only 188 were built, fewer than the combined L88 run across all 3 of its model years. The LS6 is often overshadowed by the ZR2 package that sat on top of it, but even a standard LS6 Corvette without the competition package is rare enough to command serious collector attention. But the original 1971 Corvette LS6 remains a 1-year-only factory big block, and documented examples regularly sell for well over $200,000. Number 5. 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport, 5 built. The car GM killed to protect its own rules. Zora Duntov had a plan. Build 125 lightweight racing Corvettes, qualify them for GT World Championship competition, beat Carroll Shelby's Cobra and Ferrari's GT machines on the world stage. The plan required 125 cars to meet international homologation rules. GM's corporate policy prohibited factory-backed racing following the 1957 Automobile Manufacturers Association agreement. Duntov built 5 anyway, in secret, inside Chevrolet engineering, before management shut the program down. The Grand Sport weighed roughly 1,900 pounds in competition trim, about 1,300 pounds less than a standard 1963 Corvette, on a tubular steel space-frame chassis with an extremely lightweight fiberglass body. Rather than destroy the cars when the program was canceled, Duntov distributed them to trusted private racing teams. Chassis 003 went to Dick Doan of Doan Chevrolet in Illinois. At the 1963 Nassau Speed Week, the Grand Sports performed impressively in their class against Shelby's Cobras. All 5 Grand Sports still exist. Chassis 003 is scheduled to cross the block at RM Sotheby's Monterey auction in August 2026, with a pre-sale estimate of $11 to $13 million, one of the most significant Corvettes ever offered at public auction. Number 4, 1983 Chevrolet Corvette, one known survivor, the model year that officially never happened. Chevrolet intended 1983 to be the first model year of the C4 Corvette. They built 43 pilot production cars during the development phase. Quality control issues, paint problems, door fit, electrical faults caused Chevrolet to order all 43 pilot cars destroyed, rather than release a car that didn't meet the standard the new generation demanded. One was secretly preserved. Chevrolet never sold a regular production 1983 Corvette. The C4 launched officially as a 1984 model, skipping a calendar year entirely, and creating one of the most unusual gaps in any American car's production history. The surviving pilot car lives today at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where it is publicly displayed. It is the only known surviving Corvette with a 1983 VIN, not just the rarest Corvette in the museum's collection, but arguably the most significant single artifact in the institution. It represents an entire model year that became, through a quality control decision, a permanent gap in the production record. Chevrolet never acknowledged it with a farewell. The car simply ceased to exist officially, except for the one that didn't. Number 3, 1971 Chevrolet Corvette ZR212 built. The convertible almost nobody knew existed. In 1971, Chevrolet offered 2 ultimate specification Corvette packages, the ZR1 with the LT1 small block, and the ZR2 with the LS6 454 big block, a $1,747 option that combined the 425 horsepower engine with heavy-duty competition brakes, suspension, cooling, and a 4-speed manual. The ZR2 could not be combined with air conditioning, power steering, or a radio. 12 were built in total, 10 coupes and 2 convertibles. The ZR2 is almost completely absent from the standard Corvette narrative, which focuses on the ZR1 coupe and the LS6 as a separate option. An Ontario Orange ZR2 convertible with major concours certifications sold at Meckham-Kissimmee in January 2019 for approximately $380,000. With only 2 convertibles known to have been built, the ZR2 Ragtop is the rarest open-top factory performance Corvette of the classic era, and most Corvette enthusiasts have never heard of it. Number 2, 1969 Chevrolet Corvette ZL 1.2 built, the rarest cataloged production option in Corvette history. The ZL1 was offered as its own RPO option at $4,718.35, roughly equivalent to the price of a complete base Corvette added on top of the car. What it bought was an all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8 that weighed approximately 100 pounds less than the iron block L88, with power the factory rated at 430 horsepower, widely understood to be conservative. 2 were built, 1 coupe and 1 convertible. Both survive and are individually known to Corvette researchers. The convertible sold at RM Sotheby's in 2023 for $3,140,000. In a model year where roughly 38,000 total Corvettes were built, approximately 19,000 were produced for every ZL1. The buyers who ordered them were purchasing one of the most extreme and expensive Corvette options Chevrolet had ever offered. The rest of the market didn't know the option existed. Number 1, 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport and what it represents. It belongs at number 1 not because of the auction estimate and not simply because only 5 were built. It belongs here because of what it represents in the Corvette's entire history. The moment Duntov decided that the corporate rules GM had accepted on behalf of the American auto industry were less important than what the Corvette could become if someone pushed hard enough. He built 5 cars in secret. He defied a racing ban the company had publicly committed to. He distributed them to private teams rather than let management destroy them. Those 5 cars went on to race at Nassau, at Sebring, at Road America, against Ferraris and Cobras and the best sports cars the world had at the time, and they competed. The production Corvette that everybody could buy was heavy, comfortable, and increasingly sophisticated. The Grand Sport was built from a different set of assumptions entirely, that lightness beat power, that the chassis mattered as much as the engine, and that America's sports car deserved to be taken seriously on the world stage. All 5 Grand Sports still exist. Chassis 003 is scheduled to cross the block at RM Sotheby's Monterey in August 2026 with a pre-sale estimate of $11 to $13 million, representing one of the most significant Corvettes ever offered at public auction. That number is not what makes it significant. What makes it significant is that it exists at all, because the man who built it was told not to, built it anyway, and was right. Bonus number 1, 1961. Chevrolet Corvette Mako Shark XP755.1, built. The concept that shaped 2 generations. Bill Mitchell caught a short-fin mako shark on a fishing trip off the coast of Florida and was so taken by the creature's blue-to-white coloration, its pointed snout, and its sleek silhouette that he had it mounted on the wall of his GM design office and told designer Larry Shinoda to build a car that looked exactly like it. The result, designated XP755, completed in 1961 and built on a 1961 Corvette chassis, had 6 taillights instead of 4, a longer and more pointed nose, chrome side-exit exhaust pipes styled as gill-like vents, and a clear glass roof with a periscope-style rearview mirror replacing the conventional interior mirror entirely. Mitchell's team struggled to match the fish's exact paint color, so they reportedly snuck into his office one night and painted the mounted shark to match their best effort on the car. Mitchell, unaware, pronounced himself satisfied that the 2 matched perfectly. The XP755 directly influenced the design of the 1963 C2 Corvette Stingray. The signature blistered fenders, the pointed nose, and the overall marine-inspired character all trace back to this one concept. Mitchell then rebuilt the entire car in 1965 as the Mako Shark II, which in turn influenced the 1968 C3 Corvette. One concept car shaped the visual direction of 2 complete Corvette generations. The original XP755 body no longer exists in its first form. It became the Mako Shark II. What remains is the legacy. Every C2 and C3 Corvette owner is, in some sense, driving a descendant of the fish Bill Mitchell caught off the Florida coast. Bonus number 2, 1963 Corvette Rondine, one built, an American car in an Italian suit. In 1963, the Italian design house Pininfarina built a one-off coupe on a 1963 Corvette C2 chassis for display at the Paris Motor Show, a Pininfarina initiative, not a Chevrolet commission. The design house chose the new C2 platform to demonstrate what Italian coach building could do with American mechanical hardware. Design responsibility went to Tom Tiarda, a Detroit-born architect working in Turin, who would later go on to design the Fiat 124 Spider. What Tiarda produced was an American sports car reshaped according to Italian principles: a longer front overhang, a lower and more tapered nose, a continuous fastback roofline flowing into the tail, and a steel body hand-formed in Turin, replacing the production Corvette's fiberglass panels entirely. Underneath, nothing changed. The Rondine kept the production C2's 327 cubic inch Rochester fuel-injected V8, producing 360 horsepower, its 4-speed Borg-Warner manual transmission, and its independent rear suspension. The mechanical specification was stock. The body above it was entirely unique. After the 1963 Paris show, the Rondine toured European motor shows before Pininfarina placed it in their private museum in Turin, where it remained for over 4 decades. When the company's finances collapsed in the late 2000s, it sold at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale in 2008 for approximately $1.76 million, the first time it had changed hands since the day it was built. It is now in a private American collection. Sports Car Market described it as an American car in an Italian suit. That is as precise a description as exists in automotive journalism. 10 real, documented Corvette variants and factory-built competition cars, and 2 bonus Corvettes that prove the story runs even deeper than the list suggests. The Corvette's real history is stranger and better than the version that makes the posters. Which one would you most want in your garage? Drop it in the comments, and subscribe for the next one.